rise and take the second stanza of the national anthem, while I will keep quiet when you are saying it. Yes, Engineer Rita has volunteered on our behalf. It's beginning to look like some people are more Nigerians than others. Please, Engineer Rita, I think I should give you this microphone. Your voice is loud enough. So please, thank you very much for helping us, and myself particular out. So, yes.
O God of all creation, grant this our one request. Help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed, and so with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed. Amen.
Amen. And we say amen. And we put our hands together, especially for Engineer Rita, for bailing us out.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I quite delighted that we are back here again in our bi-monthly general meeting. It appears as if we are slow, but one thing is sure, we have left where we used to be. We are no longer there. And I'm highly particularly delighted, just like the Pareto principle. That same Pareto principle is still working in this place, where in any organization, you will still see that it's the 20% that's handling the job, while 80% seems to be handling the way. But we are not discouraged, because we have a target. And where we are going is very clear. We are not confused about it. We are particularly convinced that for Nigeria to move forward, for Nigeria to have any headway in any form, Nigeria must engineer its agriculture. We are so clear about this. Yeah. We are clear about this. And it's simple. We don't need a soothsayer to let us know where we are now. Nigeria is in crisis, and it's not just Nigeria alone. All over the world, there's problem. There's an high food insecurity. But ours is peculiar because of the floating of the naira, and at the same time, the removal of fuel subsidy. It seems to have thrown us off balance completely. But be that as it may, if we can manage properly our food sector, we know that, it's an adage that says an hungry man is an angry man. And that is, in fact, is truer. If there's any grammar like that, it's much more true in our own context. We move from one place to another now, people are just on edge. And immediately I met anyone on edge, I just know the man is hungry. And there's no point arguing. You will only compound the crisis. You only compound it. Agric engineers, we know that we are not just speaking to NIAE Abuja chapter. From this epicenter, we know we are reaching not just to the nation, we are reaching to ourselves. Because for the few of us that are here, each time you receive a post, once you see a post from me, be assured of this. Over 1,500 received that post. I can tell you. The records are there. And apart from individual, over 1,500 receiving it, I'm also, by the grace of God, cut across almost 15 other groups across. So from Maiduguri to Lagos, from Sokoto to Calabar, I can assure you that everyone is aware of this meeting. Yeah. And in fact, I think from one of the chapter, I don't want to mention the chapter because so as not to appear as if I'm embarrassing any of the chapter, that Abuja is doing so well. And I laugh within me because I know the few hand that seems, media is so powerful. Once you are there all over the media, they will think that you already pocketed everybody, and that's not true. So he said, how can we learn from you? I said, gladly, I'm ready to share because we are not trying to monopolize this thing. Right from our university days, and we are too convinced. Those that are close knew that we are convinced that We are very close there. So some of the things that we are to chat about, so that I won't preempt the meeting, I'm sure they are locked up. Some of the things that we consider essential for our discussion, they are locked up in the agenda that we have in our hand. Our MOU with AUST, our cooperative, which we know if we can get it right with our cooperative, we are so convinced. Please help me welcome Engineer Taye, especially. I was speaking in Paribu, was one of those that actually facilitated that we have a boss that brings us to this meeting. So you are not clapping very well. So that when we when we make a call next time, you understand that kind of arrangement. So that we can always get that kind gesture. Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful opportunity that you have extended to us. So, what we have simply done is just to, if you are not on Abuja chapter platform, please signify. Because while I intend posting the minute there, somebody said almost everybody will not be there. But that minute, we've posted it to the chapters platform. The intention is so that we will not waste too much time, so that people will have gone through. And what would then be expecting in this meeting is just to let us know where you think we miss it, especially for some of us that attended the last meeting. So, okay, you are not there, sir. What we would do, are you a member, sir? About to. No, we welcome you gladly. No problem, sir. I already, yes, you told me the other time. So I need please help me collect so that I can easily get that across to him. Thank you so much. And I'm sure you are not likely to be the only one. You are invited by Mr. President, President AUST. That's great. You are welcome, sir. You see, the news will not have to end here. You have to help us preach the good news to them at the FUT Mina, and that's how we want. Okay, you posted it there. So that's we don't want to. We are not trying to be super anything. I hope you get me, sir. We are not trying to feel as if we are the best in all. No, we are believing God that every chapter we do what we are doing in Abuja. And the agenda in that direction is to ensure that engineering community, the whole engineering community, begin to give us our space as it ought to, because we have the answer in our hand. No, because why we are thinking that a university of this nature, especially in Abuja, very close to the city center, I think AUST is the closest university to the city center, if I'm not mistaken. Please correct me if I'm, I know the base university is a little bit by EFCC, which is still 1 or 2 kilometers away. But I'm just saying that AUST is the closest, and it has its relevance. Please, have you been able to speak, Mr. President? Yeah. So it has its relevance in terms of what it can do, especially to the residents of Abuja. And what gave us that move was the fact that when we came into the understanding that many of the postgraduate students, for them to qualify in their program, you must, I think now, make a presentation and possibly publish a paper, either 1 or 2 papers. Dr. Benjamin, you are part of the system. Am I in order? Okay. So we felt that if you are a postgraduate student within Abuja, the closest university will be possibly Mina, Benue, and of course other private universities around. But most of these private universities are very costly. So we felt that coming into partnership with AUST, and not just that alone, we're also thinking of producing bottled water or sachet water, NIAE AUST stuff. So that this is all in an attempt to raise money. Because if that comes, the MOU that we sign, we already have a percentage of how we need to go about whatever we're able to make from it. One of it, or especially the issue of the training, the proposal on the training, what really catches us is the fact that And they've already allocated to us now a demo plot that we can use, like for instance, hydroponics. If anybody comes in for hydroponics, you want to set up an hydroponic unit that you can easily take them to, so that we'll not be talking theory alone. We can take them to a place, that they can easily see what we are talking about. And the interest in this is the fact that whoever is coming for the training, especially with specific reference to women and youth, you must have a backyard or a balcony. In fact, if you don't have the two, you are not qualified. So as not to make it theoretical. And that is where the welfare of our members comes in. Because to set up any of this stuff, you need to assign an engineer that will follow you home and then ensure that what you need to do are done properly. And you also upload report from there on how far the whole system is going. So including the training fee will be more or less what we refer to as starter pack that we can easily set up around you. And that will achieve one thing. This issue of security, that you can't go far to go and farm and all the rest, that can easily be overcome. So the cooperative is expected that whoever wants to be part of it, definitely there will be a minimum shareholding that you need to have. And I think as we speak, we already penciled that 200,000. Of course, you are not expected to pay that at once. The registration form is just 2,500. And this is just to go in the administrative way. What becomes more interesting about the cooperative we are trying to bring up is the fact that you can be part of it from anywhere. You want to make everything entirely remote. You don't need to see anybody for you to be, all you just need is just, in fact, we are going as far as seeing how we can create an app that you can easily do whatever you need to do on your phone. Maybe by the time we are getting to AOB or whatever, if I'm able to bring up what I have, or through the system, we can just show you how far we have gone. The guy developing the app for us actually demanded to take 1 million naira. Say, where will he, when our own account safe? Did not even our own account is very buoyant. Very, very buoyant. But with the goodwill of members, very goodwill of members and other people that want it well with us, we have been able to advance about 500,000 naira as we speak to the vendor, and he has gone far. So what we possibly will do is that we are going to share that link in this meeting so that we can all go through and critique it. What are the things that are left? Where is it doing well? Where is it not? So that we can be able to know how to improve on it. Because it's not as if but we are ready. Pay your 2,500 and you are part of your member straight away. You see, what will be, and we are not taking this, also we are not taking it lightly. We have a consultant. Of course, I'm not mentioning this. I even thought he would be here this afternoon. This consultant, he has pioneered about 2 or 3 cooperatives. And one of the outstanding one, especially for some of us that are seated here, is Federal Department of Rural Development, Thrift and Credit, Cooperative Thrift and Credit Society. And everybody will attest, especially for some of those that belong to that cooperative arrangement. Since 2005, every year, and maybe staff of rural development, every year they pay dividends, every year they give gifts. So we felt that kind of mind where such is produced, we need him to help us start the pioneer it, at least to some level, before we can then take it over ourselves. We know that what will make it thrive, most importantly, is integrity. Once we can have people that are trustworthy, because that's the challenge of Nigeria. And that is why members, the executive won't know all that it takes to bring in who is who. It is when we are all actively involved that we can be able to identify who and who to bring, into. Please, let's welcome Mr. President. That's Professor Peter ONWUALU, President, African University of Science and Technology. You are welcome, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for taking it gladly to host us. We hijack you, and we are glad that you yielded to our hijack. Thank you so much, sir. We know that we can only move better from here. Very soon, I will go and hold this meeting in Aso Rock. So that's on our cooperative. We need to all come together and see how we can all manage it together. Agric engineering is the application of all engineering principles to boosting food production.
So I would like to welcome everybody, all of us, to this meeting. I want to really appreciate your coming. When the chairman talked to me about this, I initially said, but you know, we're out of town. He said, that's not a problem. Here you are in full force. So I really appreciate and thank all of you. Our profession is a very unique one. And I believe that this meeting and all the discussions we've been having is only aimed at making us to realize again who we are, reminding us of who we are, and then hopefully that helps us to improve on our professional practice as we all struggle to survive in this competing world. Yeah, so the topic of the presentation is it's about artificial intelligence and other emerging technology applications in urban agriculture for sustainable food production. And we didn't just select this topic anyhow. We selected this topic because we think it is something that should concern all of us. All of us, I mean, not only agric engineers, but even those who are not agric engineers. Engineers, non-engineers. In fact, we know that the best practitioners of urban agriculture, actually, they are neither engineers nor agriculturists. Some of them are people from different professional backgrounds. And you will find that what we are going to discuss is just to enlighten you on what can be done. One of the problems we have in this country is that I think one white man.
Recording in progress.
Somebody in Canada told me this around 1987 or 88 when I was doing my PhD in Canada. He asked me this question. He said, how come Nigerians know their problems, but they cannot solve the problems? And I think it was, we had a lecture by one of the frontline politicians in the First Republic, one Dr. Ikejani. These were the people who worked with Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe in those days. He's now, at that time, he was now relocated to Canada. So the man gave us a wonderful lecture in an audience mix like this. And at the end of it, the white man that I invited asked me, you people seem to understand your problems, but how come you are not able to solve your problem? So that you know that our problems didn't start today. Sometimes the younger generation think that Nigerian problems just started. No, problems have always been there, but the problem we have is our inability to, first of all, understand those problems, and then translate from those problems, look for solutions. Many times we notice that we see problems on a day-to-day basis, and these problems are actually challenges that we should confront. And in most cases, you will find that in solving those challenges, in confronting those challenges, we come up with solutions, which eventually leads to wealth, leads to success, leads to... But one of the things I've seen in my little sojourn on this earth is that we are seeing challenges on a day-to-day basis, and unknown to us, if we find solutions to these challenges, those solutions will lead to what? Business, will lead to money. But in many cases, we think that we just define these things as problems, but actually there are challenges that we should be looking for solutions. So if you look at this topic, it's talking about urban agriculture and then talking about sustainable food production. What do we understand by sustainable food production? That is part of what we are going to learn today. And then what is urban agriculture? How do we deal with urban agriculture? Is it really necessary? And then today, we are seeing technologies on a daily basis. Whether we like it or not, new and newer technologies are coming. If you go to AI that we are going to talk about, even as an old man, an old professor, I had to teach myself, I had to learn about the technology of AI, especially the usefulness in teaching and research. But even while I was trying to learn how to use a chat GPT very well, I'm being told that more and more are even coming out to, in fact, somebody told me a few weeks ago that this thing I'm trying to learn how to do something in chat GPT, that I should migrate to a newer version or a newer AI tool that will do this thing better than what I can do with chat GPT. So technology is evolving. And one of the things I ask myself, where are we as Africans, even in the development of these technologies? I think we are mostly in the area of consumption. The very smart ones, the people we define as being smart, they are very good in ensuring that any technology that comes out, they are able to grasp it and use it. But that is only one level of technology. The next level, or rather the next level is our ability to contribute towards the development of those technologies. And so we're going to look at those emerging technologies, and AI is only one out of a number of emerging technologies. And then what are their benefits? What are the challenges? Why are we not able to contribute towards the development of those technologies? And then, of course, we'll just highlight some case studies, and then we look at the future. How do we transform from being just passengers in these technologies, but moving towards a situation where we can contribute towards development and the use of these technologies? It looks like. So move on. We start with sustainable food production. If you look at our environment, the environment called Nigeria, both at the national and subnational levels. And it's important that we situate this properly. I once told one of my friends who was the governor at the time, I said, look, let us see Nigeria as having a national level and then subnational levels. We don't really understand it. And that is why a governor, which state is the smallest state in Nigeria in terms of size and population? Maybe Bayelsa. So sometimes we say if you take Bayelsa, you can fit 10 Bayelsa in one other state in Nigeria, and it will fit. But that Bayelsa, as small as it is probably bigger than a number of countries in Africa. The 54 countries in Africa, Bayelsa is bigger than some of them in terms of resources, in terms of landmass, in terms of whatever you can think of. So, but you notice that our governors are not even looking at their states as subnationals. In other words, a governor, if they think, this is what I was discussing with my friend, if they think about it, that state you call a small state is actually equivalent to another small African country. I mean, a number of you, I'm sure you've traveled to some of these West African countries, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Gambia. Gambia is even smaller than FCT. Yeah, so our governors need to begin to think in this direction. So Nigeria is big and we are growing. So there is increase in population. Even though we cry that some of the things that Bill Gates and others are doing, they're trying to reduce our population. But we decided that we cannot. So this increase is there and it will continue. In fact, I don't know our position now in terms of the world population, But the prediction is that in the next 50 to 100 years, Nigeria will feature as one of the third. If you look at the hierarchy, maybe one of the 5 most populous countries in the world. So that is real. And then you can see, as population is increasing, what we follow? Demand for food. Today, we are seeing the impact, we are seeing the problem that feeding ourselves is actually becoming a problem. When I lived in North America some years back, in Canada, in the US, you don't think about feeding. You don't worry about budgeting for food because food is there and cheap. So everybody fits well in terms of having the right quantity of food and also the quality in terms of nutrition. But look at what is happening to us today. We used to be able to feed ourselves, but you see the challenges we have, security challenges. Sometimes we talk about this farmers' headers issue and we think it's, except when it touches you. Last week or this week, it happened again in Bokos in Plateau. It has happened in Benue, it's all over. And sometimes we tend to think that it's just a political problem. But you see, it affects everything that we do. And that is why food is becoming expensive. Poor infrastructure for even moving the produce. I don't know if any of us visits any of these markets around where people buy food in bulk. Places like Day. Yeah, I don't know that one. That's another one. I hear there's another one. I think that's the one my wife goes, Orange Market or somewhere. But the only reason why I know, even though I'm an agric engineer, is that any day she goes to that market, I know that I can have fruits in abundance. So, but the infrastructure for moving these things from where they are to the cities is becoming a problem. But what is the solution? The solution to tackling our increase in population and all these challenges is, of course, first of all, to remove the challenges if we can, but also to look for improved yield per unit area. And that's why we're engineers, we're agriculturists. So if you normally require 1 hectare to grow food, a certain quantity of food, one solution is to say, can we reduce the area? In fact, in a room like this, you can grow tomatoes that you would have ordinarily grown in a big field, as big as a football field. So, and I believe that Nigeria is working on this, and that's why we have research institutes coming up with improved varieties. So you can actually grow more food per smaller area. And then functional post-harvest systems. If you visit some of these village markets around us that I mentioned, you'll be amazed at the quantity of food that is wasted because they can't sell them and the thing just gets rotten. So post-harvest system is a problem. And then, of course, another major solution that we can have is to bring more land under production, under cultivation. This can be done in our normal rural areas, but that is where urban agriculture comes in. Ordinarily, when you are within the city, we all say that farming is a dirty business. We are busy chasing money everywhere. But urban agriculture is important, and those that are developed in developed economies, they recognize that we can satisfy part of our food needs by embarking in urban agriculture. And it is selected as a special area because ordinarily you don't farm within cities. Cities are for, you cut down, destroy farms and then build. But what was happening in Africa, they will come and change it, and then later they come back and begin to tell us to return back to what we were doing. It happens with climate change, happens with agricultural production. Before, our forefathers and foremothers, they know about shifting cultivation. They know that you don't farm on a particular piece of land every year. In fact, as a child, I experienced it. In some parts of the, in a particular year, we are farming in one area of our land. But when modern agriculture came, we started doing intensive cultivation. So on the same land, you are farming every year. Of course, we say support with fertilizer and so on. But now that we are moving towards organic farming and sustainability issues, we are now returning back to what used to happen, where you use natural means to reinvigorate the soil by not continuously farming on it. So urban agriculture has come to help. And what is it all about? And it's important that we understand what we mean by urban agriculture. There are certain farming methods that you cannot practice in the city. But there are some things that are really suited for city farming. One is horticulture. And that means you want to grow things, not just for food. You can grow ornamentals. I don't know if you saw this. There was a time this was beamed, the kind of money that a country like Kenya makes from exporting flowers to Europe. It sounds maybe social media hype, but it is not. People grow flowers and export. Because even though we are all enjoying plastic flowers, there are still people who prefer natural flowers, and they can't grow them in their environment. So those who are smart run businesses growing ornamental crops, growing flowers, and exporting them. Medicinal plants. I think it was mentioned that I was once a DJ of raw material. At some point while I was DJ, I got an invitation by the Chinese Ministry of Science and Technology to spend 3 weeks to study medicinal plants in China. And it was amazing. What I gained from that, I mean, those who were following what I was doing then, it was after that I started promoting moringa. If anybody was, following when we were promoting moringa crop as medicinal plant, yeah, thank you. Yeah, just in case. Yeah. So, medicinal plants. What I saw in China was amazing. In fact, while that training was going on, I think the second week, one of us went down with cold. And it happened to be one of these. That time, viruses were not very popular, but this lady actually came down with, sneezing, running, and then they were saying there was an issue with, I can't remember what that virus was. So they immediately quarantined her. We were like a group like this. And incidentally, within 2-3 days of our coming together, I had become her father, so to say. Anywhere you see me, I see she will come and sit near me. Reason was that she's an addict of African magic at the time. I'm sure African magic is still popular. So the first day we did that, we started that conference. The Chinese people came to me and said, "You seem to be the oldest person in this, people from different African countries. And we hear you are from Nigeria." I say, "Yes." He said, "Did you come with any of your traditional?" I say, "Yes, I have one." He said, "Which one?" I say, "From the East." He said, "That's the one they want. That I'll be the one to speak on behalf of the participants." So during the opening ceremony, I was in my attire with my red cap. And so immediately after that, when we were taking pictures, this lady came to me and hugged me and said, "You are now my father from today." That she has been watching African magic. He said, "Are you Igwe or?" Anyway, she's from St. Lucia or something, yeah. She's actually a pharmacist, the chief pharmacist of their general hospital. So anyway, she came down with this virus and she was quarantined. And when I came back that evening, I said, "Where is," trying to remember her name. They said, "She's been quarantined." The Chinese officials, health officials came and quarantined her. That they are still trying to find out the kind of virus she has. I say, "What? That nobody should go to her room." I say, "You people are joking. I'm a Nigerian. I'll enter her room." I went to her room. When the hotel people heard that I was there, they came and said I must leave. I said, "I can't leave. Look, we don't do this in Africa. She's sick. All of us might as well, because they say, 'No, you will catch it and spread it.' I say, 'No, I won't catch it.'" Anyway, I remember this story because of medicinal plants. They found the following day, they came and said, no, it's not that international virus, that it's a local virus. And they were going to take her to a Chinese hospital. So she was a little scared. I said, no, I will accompany you. And we went. It was a teaching hospital, Chinese version. So I asked questions. They said they have teaching hospitals, Orthodox, the one we have around us, and teaching hospital, Chinese. And in that teaching hospital, Chinese, they only use medicinal plants. And I tell you, by the time we came back and they boiled the roots and all the things they gave her, and she started doing steaming. By the following morning, the symptoms disappeared. I say, you see, if you are taking the orthodox medicine that you are familiar with as a pharmacist, it will take 3-4 days before the virus can go. So medicinal plants are important, and Chinese people have developed this into businesses. So fruits, vegetables, livestock, fishery, these are the kind of agricultural practices we can have. So there are different, this is just to give you an example of what urban agriculture is all about. And I'm sure we can find even good pictures all around us where you have high-rise buildings in front of them or around them or within them, you have agriculture going on next. So you can do smart farm produce. Remember that agriculture is not just about farming. Sometimes we confuse this. Agriculture is the entire value chain from preparing the land, planting, down to what? When the food lands on our table, either in its natural form or in a processed form. That is the entire value chain for agriculture. And so, smart farm produce distribution is something that can be practiced within our cities. Farmers markets, I'm sure we have a few of them, which is important. Agro-processing systems, cold chain management, this is still one of the problems we have. I did my PhD in Canada, and I tell you, they don't produce banana in Canada. It doesn't grow. So, I mean, half of the year, the place is frozen anyway. All the banana they eat come from Caribbean islands, and they arrive Canada green. But how are they able to manage them? Through cold chain management systems. And these systems are provided by young professionals, not those farmers in the villages, but young professionals who take those farm produce and make sure that all year round, even the 6 months that is winter, that if you look through the window, everywhere is white with snow. You still go to the supermarket and you find fresh banana, fresh whatever fruit that they have. Smart greenhouses. Smart greenhouses, I don't know if anybody here is in the business. Is anybody here in the business of greenhouses? It's an area that we are missing, even as agri-engineers. What greenhouses mean is that that thing you can grow in a big field. You can actually do a greenhouse as small as this, and you can produce the kind of things that you want within a controlled environment. And that's where AI comes in, because it means you can monitor the environment, you can control the environment, and you can then use improved varieties to produce. Farming in waterways. If you look around us within Abuja, you notice that the waterways are taken over by what? Garden, thank you. That's where we eat and drink. But those waterways can actually be areas for farming, in addition to what we are doing. But I don't think we've thought about it, or maybe there are no professionals that have actually worked on this to ensure that we can also grow food, because those waterways are natural environments for irrigation. But what we are doing now is turning them into drinking places and eating places, forgetting about where we produce. We need to produce those things we eat. Next. So what are these two slides are just giving you possible opportunities in urban agriculture, which I believe. So what are the benefits? We've already talked about the benefits. It can increase food production. It can ensure resilience in our food production system, sustainable supply. But now that we are all talking about climate change, you see, every year when there is a COP, I think the last one is COP what? Who attended the last?
16 in Riyadh.
Eh?
16 in Riyadh.
Okay, the next one is coming, and every Nigerian wants to go. Every government agency is now involved in. But the carbon footprint is something that we have not even understood, talk less benefiting from it. Okay, but urban agriculture can contribute to that very seriously. Next one. I once visited, I think it was on the trip I told you the story about. I visited a city in, I think it's an island or so. It's called the Coconut City. And if you are driving through the streets, you see all these ornamentals that we have. Abuja is doing well, but I know I've confronted those in those responsible. I was trying to change the policy of not using only ornamentals along our roads, but using fruits. And they said, no, it's a policy that we can't do this. I say, look, I have an NGO, I even want to, don't pay for it, but I want to replace these ornamental trees with fruit trees. They say, no, it's impossible, that's policy of FCDA. But I went to this city in China, and they call it Coconut City. Every road, right and left, you have trees. Anyway, that's their concept. You have the road, you have the walkway or sidewalk. What do they call it in civil engineering? Eh? Yeah, the ones for pedestrians. And then you have trees separating the road from the street, the buildings. Of course, those trees absorb all kinds of things that come from vehicles, including noise, pollution. So it's intentional. But in this particular city, instead of using ornamentals, they use coconut. So all over the city is all coconut. Of course, improve variety. Now, what that means is that the kind of thing you see around Badagry and some of these West African countries, under the heat, because it's a tropical city in China, everybody is drinking, you know what I'm talking about, coconut water. And again, you now have so many things that come out, business that come out from that coconut, either converting the fiber, the biomass to something, and so on and so forth. But anyway, this is something that policy can do. Now, having identified these possibilities in urban agriculture, how can technology help? And you can see that we can easily identify a number of technologies, and it's important that we understand this. If you were in school at the time I was in school, I left, my bachelor's degree was 1982. There was nothing like this. So we think that these things are not new, they are actually new. Artificial intelligence, I only started hearing about this a few years ago. When I was in school, there was nothing like artificial intelligence. We were battling with Fortran. Who wrote codes in Fortran? You did? You don't look old enough, but but I know. Okay, okay, yeah, you understand what I'm talking about. The regression analysis I did for my master's project, I wrote it in Fortran and using cards. After writing them, the code in cards, then I went and submitted the cards at the computer center at Nsukka. And then 2-3 weeks later, the printout will come out. Then you start interpreting them, and that's how I did my regression. But I published a paper from it. But today, when I talk to students that you don't know what technology has done for you, today is not only that we have spreadsheets that can do regression analysis. Now we have artificial intelligence that can look at historical data and even give you models. And once you train it, it can do. So if you haven't taken a course on AI, I recommend as an agric engineer, please take a course. I started with a free online course on AI. At some point, I had to respect myself when they when they started the very advanced ones. But at least the free course I took from Coursera and some of these now made me to understand what my own conclusion is actually, this is actually advanced regression analysis. Once you have good historical data, you can train the model develop the model, train it, and then it can predict into the future. So AI has come, Internet of Things, vertical farming, for those of us that we are in agriculture. So we need to understand what vertical farming means. Hydroponics, aeroponics, we've always been taught that, I think in primary or secondary school, we've been taught that for you to grow crop, you must plant in the soil. But you can now, we have hydroponics, we have aeroponics, growing food or crops without soil. Whether you are growing in water, that's hydroponics, and then even in ordinary air is aeroponics. Then you have drones, and these things are, but these emerging technologies are very important for us. And it is real that many of us study agric engineering and we shy away from practicing in agriculture, isn't it? But with these modern technologies, you can actually practice because these are supported by technology. Imagine coming up with a business of providing drone technology for farmers. Before now, not many farmers will listen to you, but now you can actually have clients that you can deal with their pest problems, their disease problems using drones, robotics for processing, and then the big one, blockchain, issues of traceability. That's where blockchain came up. It's very useful. I remember some years back, I don't know what has happened. There was some traction or some movement in the area of commodity exchanges. I don't know whether they are still functional, or I know that Nigeria, we hardly sustain something where you can actually have commodity exchanges, just like you have money exchange systems. I don't know, those of us in in Ministry of Agri, if that program is still on. But this is where blockchain comes in. What that means is that you can actually market your commodities using blockchain. And when I talk about marketing, not only in Nigeria, but even outside Nigeria. Then smart processing and distribution systems. Our distribution system is very, very chaotic. We don't actually have any system. If you like, do a study now on food distribution systems in Abuja. You will notice there is no pattern. But this is an opportunity for business. Where do the supermarkets get their supplies? You will find that it is anyhow, anybody, that can approach them and convince them. But it is something that can have value if we think about companies that can develop these technologies, even if you don't develop, acquire these technologies and provide them as services. So, and these will come in different kinds of solutions. Digital solutions for agriculture include digital procurement, ensuring that procurement systems are smart. Agric e-commerce, I'm sure some of us here are in the business of selling agricultural commodities and products using e-commerce. Smart farming, we've already talked about. Digital information services. If you want to get any data or information on agricultural services in Nigeria, how easy it have you ever thought of how easy it is for you to get real data, real information that can help you in farming? And when we are talking about farming, we are talking about crops, we are talking about livestock, fisheries, and so on. You have to really locate the expert wherever he is. But in today's world with technology, we know that people should be able to provide these services. Weather and climate services, digital finance, which is actually the very interesting one where many of the agri-techs go to. How do you develop financial solutions that can support agriculture? These are all digital solutions. Next one, please. All the digital solutions that we can all get involved in. So coming to artificial intelligence, I'm sure we don't have a lot of time, so I will just rush through. Go back one step. Yeah, I've already talked about AI. Yeah, data-driven decision-making for crop health. So AI can be used to deal with crop health, pest control, irrigation, post-harvest systems, and so on. For those of you who followed the Engineering Innovation Award that Nigeria Academy of Engineering did, was it last year, I think? I've even forgotten. Was it last year? Okay. That was the last outing I had as president of Academy of Engineering. That award started in my tenure, and the winner, it was an Engineering Innovation Award. I don't know how many of us saw it. How many saw it? Anybody here? Because it's for young engineers. I think the second round is on now because we were able to institute it, and it's now going to be happening every year. The first prize was won by an agric engineer from Makurdi. And what did he do? Smart AI-assisted irrigation system. Very interesting project which he brought to Lagos to display. And he got 10 million, I believe, either 5 or 10 million, to commercialize this idea that is, well, it has gone beyond ideation because he actually had a prototype. The way the award works is that when you apply, they will come and see what you have done so far. And if there is proof of concept, you can now qualify to be invited to compete. And if you pitch well, you can win. And I remember that when we started this, as president, people, some, that academy is, the average age is 70 actually. So you can imagine if the average age is 70, and at the time I became president, I think I was 63 or 64. So I was one of the boys in the room. Each time we meet, I was one of the young boys in quotes, dealing with people that are in their 90s and 80s, engineers that have seen it all. So the first thing they told me, this is your award thing. Don't spend our money giving award to people. But the interesting thing is that we pitched this idea with corporate organizations. And I tell you, the committee that handled this raised over 60 million. And all that money went to support about 10 innovations, the winners at different levels. I think they are in the second round now. I don't know if it's closed. Who knows? I'm just saying it so the young engineers here, please, you can Google and find out if it has closed. If it has closed, not to worry. You can prepare for next one. It's going to be a yearly thing. But you have to have a solution to a problem, okay? And the problems or challenges we are talking about are all sectors of the economy. It just happened that last year, it was in the agri sector that the best solution came up. So AI-powered computer vision for disease detection, climate control, and so on. These are all areas that we can have solutions that can fetch us money and other things. Next. Internet of Things, I'm sure, you understand all this more than myself. Smart homes, smart transport, smart everything. And they are gradually coming to us in the cities. I think the developers are now promoting smart cities. I once visited, not once, I have a friend that lives in one of the Cosgrove estates. I think the one in Jabi. And the first day I went to his house, I said, let me know if it is another media hype when they say the Cosgrove is a smart. But I saw, and I agreed with them that they had actually built a smart estate. Because you can't enter that place without, yeah. And even when you enter, once your car approaches something, the camera picks up your car, and then depending on where you are saying you are going, the person that you want to see will actually have to activate that gate by pressing a button or maybe saying something, and then the gate opens. And so when you leave, the system still locks you and finds out, some of the things that the big hotels do. If you have a visitor, when your visitor is leaving, they call you from reception and say, your visitor is leaving, are you okay? I guess they do that because of some situations where somebody can go into a room and kill somebody and sneak out. So these are what smart things can do. But IoT is also, you can have smart homes, smart health, everything is now going smart. Yeah, next one. But who provides the services for this smartness? Engineers. We need to work on all these. So whether it is smart agriculture or whatever it is, we need to work with those who are in the IT sector to be able to deal with this. And these things are all driven by smart sensors. So sensor development is another area. I have a project with one of our colleagues somewhere in Bauchi. And I conceived that project and said, look, I'm very busy. I can give you this project. Pitch it with TED Fund. Who knows, you might win. And I suggested a number of people that he can call. Eventually, he got some of our colleagues, actually. Everybody in that team is an agriculture engineer. And this is about precision farming or precision agriculture. And they got the grant. But we found that there was a sensor they were looking for. We eventually got that thing from Netherlands, but it's still not dealing with the problem that we wanted to solve. Which means sensor development is a green area. It's an area that we should all be thinking about. Smart sensors. I remember when I was doing my PhD, the concept I had in my head was the autonomous tractor concept. At that time, autonomous tractor was still, science fiction. How can a tractor be moving without? But I pitched it with a number of manufacturers like John Deere and International Harvester. They told me it's a concept that they are thinking about, but that it is possible. And I actually did this using my tillage. Those of you who know me very well, you know I started with tillage. So I created a tillage environment in the lab. And the task I gave myself was to be able to acquire tillage data, process the data, and use it to drive the equipment. So if I want the soil in the bin to be prepared at 12, 13% moisture, the system will be able to configure and irrigate it and till it. And when you test that moisture, you see that it's actually what you want it, which is what you can do. That time, remember, technology has not come. Everything I did was wired. There was nothing like radio wave then. So this equipment I had in my lab had all kinds of wires linking, all to my desktop computer. There was no laptop. But today, with sensors, smart sensors, these sensors can sense something and send it to you. When I say you, I mean your device, whether your phone or whatever, data logger, without wires. And we take it for granted because now we have mobile phones, but it's actually smart sensors, and all these can help us to have these systems functioning. Next one. So Internet of Things is there. The beauty of Internet of Things is that you can now get every information you need, every data you need, and then embed it in what you are. Then we talk about vertical farming. This is usually for places where you don't have land. Sometimes we say, no, we have land, there is no need for this. But if you are going to do urban agriculture, then you must go vertical farming. What that means is that instead of using the land, you can actually plant in layers. And of course, in most cases, it's for horticulture. I don't know if you can plant yam like this. But you've seen in social media that some people say you can now put soil in feed bags and then plant near your fence, and it will still yield. But you see, it's beyond social media now. I have done it. Oh, excellent. Excellent. Okay. Except if you are looking for the kind of tubers of yam they have in the Delta area. Yeah, but you see, technology has come to help us. And actually, if you are thinking about processing, you don't need the yam to be. You talk about yam mini sets, so you can have small yield. And if you are going to process, it really doesn't matter whether it is a big tuber or a small tuber. The important thing is that you have everything. So vertical farming, move on. To save our time, I will just highlight all these drones. There are a number of agri-tech companies that are offering drone services to people. Smart irrigation systems, next. Hydroponics, aeroponics, I've already talked about this. Is soilless farming. You can actually farm without the soil. Next. But of course, what you now need to do is that support that the soil gives, you need to find it, and that's where using ropes and things like that will come in. Blockchain, I've mentioned, is about managing the produce and making sure that we achieve traceability, which is very important for especially the developed world, where they talk about organic farming. Is this organically grown? For us, we are still battling with food, so anything goes. Nobody asks. Eh? Yeah. So what are the benefits of urban agriculture? We already seen it. I think even our first lady is promoting it as a national policy that people should do gardening and so on. Sometimes we say, is it ordinary gardening? But I know people who are surviving in this town by growing fish at the back of their house. Many. But where do we come in as engineers? Providing those services that these people need. You may not be the one to do it, but you are providing the service as a consultant or as an entrepreneur. Yeah, please go on. So the benefits are there. As I conclude, I just want to highlight some case studies just to whet your appetite, and you can actually get more. Just type in Google, agri-tech companies. If you know how to do search very well, I'm sure you will see a lot. And they are real. Some of them have raised seed money or operational money, $1 million, 500,000, and so on. And I just mentioned a few. Plenty, Infarm, Aerofarms. Some of these are in Nigeria. Hello Tractor, I'm sure we are all agric engineers. I don't know if we know about this startup. Relief, and so on. Move on. These are all agri-tech companies, and I'm considering them as tech, as case studies, because all of them, without exception, are leveraging on AI and tech. That is the only thing that makes you to be an agri-tech. And that's the only thing that can make you to have an edge over others. So you look for your niche area. What area of agriculture can you come in? Is it in production? Is it in distribution? Is it in offering financial services? And so as agric engineers, we should all be able to, because we are talking about the entire value chain of agriculture. And if we do this, you'll notice that we can begin to have a number of startups springing up, run by young engineers or related professionals, providing services in the agricultural sector. And what will be the end product? It means that those who want to go into urban agriculture will be able to find services around them. Move on. But there are challenges. Number one challenge is what? High initial investment. It is like the story of solar. And one of those, in my younger days, I used to do some work in the area of solar. And we say, solar is free. Is it really free? Somebody came here, and I'm sure he didn't know my background. So he was trying to teach me how I can put this entire campus on solar. I held myself, I took all the lecture he gave me. I said, thank you very much. But I know why I haven't done it is what? Because of this high initial investment. We just started actually in this university. I gave those who are working on this for me a target that before students come back this semester, the students are arriving this week actually, that all their hostels should be on solar. I think they've done 2 and then they're now on the 3rd one. And the interesting thing why I'm bringing this up is, when we conceived this, I was looking for the money after conceiving it. I was looking for money, and of course, as you know, vendors were coming. And then in one meeting, one of my staff said, but Prof, we have people who are experts in batteries, we have some in renewable energy, we're even producing PhDs in this area. Why should you give this as contract? let's do this as, I said, oh, with all pleasure. And they thought I was joking. I said, okay, let's form a committee. Every expert on solar, whatever expert you are, come together, including students. Let's do this as a university project. And I tell you, all the things we did, we procured them directly from manufacturers, all the things that we had to do. And they supervised and got artisans and those who do the actual thing. And I think 2 of the hostels, yesterday on Monday, I inspected this and they are working. Or at least I was seeing sensors that tell me that they are working.
Recording stopped.
Okay. And so these things are possible, but the high initial cost, technical skills gap, data issues. If you are going to use AI, data becomes a problem. And you will see if you really go deep to use this AI, especially, for example, in if you use it for research or for writing, I tell them, unfortunately, when I use it to say, okay, give me a paper or a summary of a paper on a particular topic, I noticed that they can only give you historical things that are historical. And that's where you now come in as the expert to now add what is current. So for AI to work very well, you need data, historical data. And that is also an opportunity for all of us as professionals, providing this data that can be used for developing some of these AI tools. Cybersecurity, issues of regulation, poor access to technology, poor access to electricity, and of course, poor internet. I'm sure some of the delays we're having is because the bandwidth or something is, and it is costly. But we are making progress. Like I shared with some people this morning in a training I conducted on engineering economy. I told them that we have gone, even though we are experts in hitting ourselves as Nigerians, we've actually gone very far in technology. I still remember as a young academic like some of you, when I was age of some of us here, at Nsukka, the cost for browsing was so high that every Friday night and Saturday night, I go to Enugu. Those of us from the east, you know Enugu from Nsukka to Enugu is about 45 minutes, 1 hour. But I go there in the evening to do overnight browsing in, I think it was Rainbow Net or so. One of the former governors just started the major internet browsing point at Enugu. So we'll be there in the night. As a young man, I will stay awake throughout the Friday and throughout Saturday to do browsing. Why? Because of the high costs. But today, you can see it as I'm speaking now. In fact, some of my students do that. When you say something, especially my postgraduate students, when you say something, they think, Prof has goofed here. They quickly Google. They quickly Google and tell you, Prof, this. So, this is where some of the challenges, and you are able to do that if you have good connectivity. So this is an area that we still need to work on as a nation to have proper, good connectivity. Of course, connectivity is related to electricity supply. Electricity supply is related, they're all interconnected. But I believe we are making progress, but we need to do more. So what is the future? Awareness creation, and I thank NIAE Abuja chapter for this. I hope you know that NIAE as a national body has the CIGR group on AI. Who is in that group? In this room? Okay. Yeah, try to join. There is this young man in Makurdi that is really very good in this. What's his name now? Is it Audu or so? Yeah, I read everything he writes on AI. Yeah, John Audu. He's really good. I think, I don't know where he learned it, but he's really good in this. So I encourage you, find out and belong to that. You will learn a lot from what others are presenting. So this awareness creation about AI and ETs, emerging technologies. In this university, I'm at the point of creating a center for AI and emerging technologies. I made that proclamation during our last convocation in January, and we are currently working on doing this. What that means is any emerging technology that comes out, we'll grab it and begin to teach people what it's all about and how they can use it to improve their productivity, not just for the sake of, and we can see the power of technology. I don't know how many of you are following the story in my state about traditional healers. Are they really healers? There's a young man from my community, actually, not just Anambra State. I come from that community. He's called Akwa. For those who are not Igbo, his name is Akwa Okuko Tiwaraki. That is, that egg that you can use to break palm kernel. This young man is 24, but the father is a traditional healer, using herbs and so to treat people. But he came and said, using the power of technology, that he doesn't heal you of sickness. He only heals you of a sickness of your pocket. So if you want to be rich, come. And he's doing this all over the social media. He's very popular on social media, especially in the East. But of course, so many other things now started coming in like it is in Nigeria. When I confronted him, what he said was that he's actually doing this for people if you are going abroad to make money. If you are going to Singapore, to Malaysia, you can take anything and pass. Nobody can detect. But you know how it is. The government is now clamping down because now those who do kidnapping, they now go to him. And then it's also changing the psyche. Even in my community, it has become a problem. Because the youths no longer think about learning anything. Because you can go and have this old kit or the pots. And when they arrested him, people were all shivering because, you know, if I go there and he does one for me, my pot is there with my name. And he goes to do incantations, so my money will keep growing. So they found that some kidnappers were caught and so on, and they named him as the person that provided the... Anyway, what am I talking about? That man has made money because of technology. Beaming it in the minds of people that you can come there and become rich. And people, of course, the ones that are rich are the ones we hear about. They don't tell us about the other ones that go there and the little one they have vanished. Anyway. Oh, yes. Sorry?
Is that actually what he was doing?
No. What you, if, you know, I didn't go into details, but I mentioned that the father is about my age and has been practicing this Babalawo business. And the man, I don't even know if he has a motorcycle. But his boy started at 13, 14. And what now gave him money was when he leveraged on technology. Technology in this case is social media. That's what I mean. So, using social media to market, if you are on social media, you will always see him dancing. There is also the positive one. There is also another billionaire from my community called, who knows? I'm sure you don't know where I come from. Just to tell you that it's not all wayo, everything. There is also Obi Kubana. Obi Kubana is also from the same community. But he's doing genuine business. But like I tell people, he probably may not be the richest businessman in that community or in Nigeria. But he leverages on what? Because his business is show business, entertainment, and so on. And he has been able to use the power of technology to multiply his... So that's what I'm saying, that sometimes some of the things we see, like some of the things that the people show us, and because of that we get convinced that they can make you to have money. it's all driven by technology. Otherwise, if the technology is not there, not many people will know what they're doing, except if you now decide to look for them. Maybe you are sick and they tell you when you go, this man will make you well. Okay? But technology is, even in what we are talking about, urban agriculture, it's only technology that can enable you tell the entire Abuja that you can supply eggs at half the price, and so on. It's also, you can even use AI to bamboozle people to see that when you eat this egg, you can grow 2 times your normal size. So that's the point I'm trying to make. Okay, micro farms promotion, policy support for urban agriculture is important. Those of us from the ministry, urban agriculture as a component of smart cities is something that developers can also think about. Of course, the area of research and development is important because these things have to be developed, these sensors and these technologies. And then finally, we must promote agri-tech startups and hubs. And this is where I will end my presentation, to sensitize us that these are opportunities for us as young agricultural engineers. Remember the case studies I showed. You can actually Google and see agri-tech companies, young companies that are coming up as startups. In this university, in the last 2 years, we've established an innovation hub. And we are promoting startups, students, faculty, those who are interested in using technology to drive business. We encourage you, and you go through training, we've been pitching exercises, and we believe that people gradually will begin to raise funds, because funds is one of the biggest challenges. You may have ideas, but you may not have resources to implement. So agri-tech startups are very important next. And I believe that if we as agri-engineers embrace these technologies, learn about them, know about them, you don't have to be a computer scientist, but you learn enough to enable you see the business side of these things, how you can apply these things in agriculture. And when we talk about agriculture, we are talking about the entire value chain. If you don't want to go into production, you can be in the area of distribution. Somebody invited me once to help him revive a farm around, as you are heading to Kefi, one of those farms around there. And I put up a team of young people and we were going there, working on. And we found that even though he had a big farm, mixed farm, poultry, piggery, fish, integrated, 3 crops, but we were making more money marketing eggs. When we started, I found that we were not producing enough eggs to supply to the network of people that sell eggs within the city. And so one day I told the one young lady that became the manager, I said, look, we don't have to depend on only the ones we produce. There are others producing and they don't know about this market that we have. So let's develop this marketing eggs. It's amazing. The money we were making marketing eggs from others, we were not making that kind of money in the poultry farm, because there are challenges in the poultry farm, especially the issue of feeds. We were trying to develop a feed mill, because we found that most of the money was going in feed. And at the end of the day, the market determines the price of the egg. At that time, 700 naira or so, a crate. I don't know what it is now, I'm sure at that time. But we found that we could make more money picking eggs from different farms. And then with the power of technology again, we had created a network of people who are looking for eggs, and we take it to them. And so it depends on the area of the value chain, you create your own niche. If you can't go into production, you can go into processing, you can go into distribution. So I believe that these are the obstacles that we have in urban agriculture can be overcome. And I conclude my presentation by saying that agri-engineers should develop and promote AI and emerging technology, devices and systems for urban agriculture. We promote it, but I think where we have our niche is in developing the technologies, the sensors, providing the services. If it is areas that we can produce, of course, we bring in the technology. I just gave you an example of the solar system that we are doing here. I'm sure 80% of what we have here, even 90% are all imported. We actually ordered them directly. Again, power of technology. We couldn't have been able to do that without technology. Payment systems. Before now, it would have been difficult to wire money to somebody in China or in Lagos without seeing the person. And then what you ordered for lands here in Abuja, and you go and pick it up and install. So that's the power of technology. And I believe that as agri-engineers, we should be in the forefront of developing these agri-tech companies or agri-tech startups to provide these services, especially in the area of urban agriculture. And it's a vast area. It's a virgin area that is still coming up. We're already doing it anyway. Some people are still doing it, are already doing it, but we need to commercialize them. If you move around our campus now, you see that we have 2 waterways or 2 rivers. There's one that I'm sure you passed through. Another one came from this side, and then they meet somewhere and they continue. It's the same river that you will see in Gwagwalada. They are very small, but they are not small. If you have been old enough in this time, you know that the valley here actually swallowed somebody. So during the rains, they can actually become big rivers. And the point I'm making is that urban agriculture is already being practiced, because if you go to the banks of this, as the water winds around our campus, you see that our staff are already farming around the water channel. And if this is done in a more systematic manner and with technology, I believe that we have so many of these possibilities that we can actually grow the food we eat in this town. Thank you for listening and welcoming me.
Thank you so much. Thank you, and thank you, and thank you. Indeed, we can't thank you enough. Please, can you give him another round of applause, please? This, I think, much more than we bargained for this afternoon. Please have your seats. Please have your seats, gentlemen and ladies. Much more than we bargained for, we have been exposed to. So, so much question, but can I just give opportunity to just 1 or 2 very critical things that you think can benefit us? Sir, I will want to give you that opportunity to please come, sir. Please come. Thanks so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, all. We thank God for our Prof, has spoken at length. In fact, we really give glory to God, because I'm blessed today. I'm really blessed. Well, my names are Akin Davis Tinuala. I'm the national president of AFAT Africa. That is Association of Farmers for Agricultural Transformation in Africa. We are all about transformative agriculture, because my question goes along that line. The question is, why is it that upon all our research work, agricultural research works, it's not being, it is not being effective. We are not seeing the results in our practical work in the rural areas where our farmers are. We have a lot of research work, but we discover that this thing is not being replicable in the practical in our area, because all the same team practicing all the year round, What can change this narrative? The other time we are talking of famine. In Africa, when we have fertile, fast land, climatic condition very wonderful. We have lively rivers everywhere. Fertile land. Why are we still begging for food, lining up for palliatives on our street, when we have all what it takes to get it and to feed the rest of the world? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. I'm trying to still see how I can manage time for the few things that are left. But sincerely, I appreciate you for that, sir. Of course, before Prof also answer to that, the reason why all those problems are here, that's why we are here. That's the reason for being here. We are starting from here, so that we can take it up. We don't know what slows us down, whatever, whether spiritual or physical, is not really an issue. But we must start. And what you hear from here today, sir, we must do something. Okay? Don't worry about, forget about what the government is doing at times. Forget about what others are doing. Just concentrate on yourself. And let's see how we go from there. So, I don't know whether. Okay, all the questions. Okay. So, any other question? Any other? Okay, question online. Okay, IPC. Okay. Engineer Olunfemi. Engineer Olunfemi. Engineer Olunfemi. Former NIAE president, sir. Hello, sir. Please unmute yourself and speak to us. I thought he has a question. Okay. So while we are, hoping that we will reach us here, please, if you want to ask questions online, we are giving just 2 questions online. Just 2. So if you want to speak with us, please, you unmute, and of course, we recognize you. Any other question in the house? Okay. Please, quickly. Oh, yeah. Do we have, where's the roving mic? Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Chairman.
We want to record it. We want to record it.
Sorry. Okay, thank you so much, sir. Engineer Rita Easy. I actually just want to commend Professor ONWUALU for this wonderful presentation. While I was seated there, I was just talking to my brother. I said that my vice chairman, he's actually the vice chairman, Nigeria Society of Engineers, Abuja branch.
You will pay for that.
No, sorry, please. He's also an agric engineer. So I told him that after this lecture, we need to sit down together as vice chairman and think of a way we can start this agri-tech business. He mentioned some of the agri-tech companies. I said we need to locate one of these. So this is an eye-opener for me. Yeah. And I just want to commend Prof for this wonderful presentation. Prof, thank you so much, sir. So thank you so very much.
You'll also have to monitor some of these tanks. Yes, an eye-opener. Very correct, an eye-opener. One of the best lectures that we have had as a chapter. One of the best. Any other question in the house? Okay. Are you speaking to us, sir? Yes, go ahead, sir. We are listening to you. Please go ahead.
Chairman, guest speaker, guest lecturer, first of all, my apologies. I actually promised to do physical. I'm actually in Abuja, but I was using 3 virtual meetings when I also joined at some point. Of course, I'm not expecting journalists at this from my brother and elder professor at the Tascam. I'm not getting you. One of the companies listed is my friend's son. The assistant wants to work and wants to buy. So I want to encourage everyone, particularly the young ones, the old ones too, yes, so get involved in the culture and the space is there for us. I know I expect I will get this presentation, they will continue to further. We must find a way to have this presentation at the national level. I was the national chairman some hours ago. I reminded him about this late. and we must find a way to do this at national level. It is much larger things. Well done, objection, sir. You are leading the pack. Well done. Again, congratulations to my brother for hosting this and creating a platform which is university to continue to create awareness. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much,
For the opportunity to be part of this.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir. I want to give just one more online. I hope Professor Joshua Olaoye, National Chairman, Nigerian Institution of Agricultural Engineers. Do you want to say hi to your subject here, sir? Just say hi, sir. Professor Joshua Olaoye, National Chairman, Nigerian Institution of Agricultural Engineers. We want to hear your voice.
Good evening. Happy again to be in your midst. My desire was to be there physically, just like the past president said. We were together, just not quite long. I was engrossed in another assignment and another meeting. Sincerely, I desire and I promise that I will be there physically. It's just unfortunate things happens like that again. But that notwithstanding, I most especially appreciate this chapter for giving us the opportunity to have this periodic webinar on some sensitive and topical issues. So tonight again, we are privileged to have listened to one of our fathers, an elder professor, who has been preaching that we should all be involved in these emerging technologies and AI application. And sincerely, he has not just instructed us to be involved, he has given us the nitty-gritty of how to be involved. And I want to promise him that, like my member here confessed, we will pursue it and ensure that soonest we will continue to hear of an agribusiness with integrated AI and ETS. Once again, I want to thank the chairman and all the committee members for staging this and hosting this very important occasion. Like the past president mentioned, well, our upcoming conference is going to be on machinery exhibition. And it is not a news now that we'll be having the 3 programs here in Ilorin in November this year. And God's willing, we will also see how larger audience will also be able to benefit from today's presentation. We'll have this interaction and discussion further with the guest speaker. Once again, I thank everybody for our active participation. Thank you and God bless. To continue in this advancement of our profession. Thank you and God bless you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, National Chairman. We are really privileged to have you online with us this month, and we will definitely take it further. We will discuss some of these things further with you, and believing that the National will actually take whatever they need to take up at that level. Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate you. I'm sure we can exhaust this. I mean, because it's like we should just continue. But honestly, time is an enemy here. So like I said, so thank you again so much, sir. We are so grateful. 2 things. One of it is the cooperative. Maybe I'll just give you, I'm reducing it from 5 minutes to 3 minutes. The other one is a business opportunity for as many as are interested. There's a partner that we have. I call them Santi Baobab. The CEO got in touch with her some few months ago. And of course, the manager and the digital marketer, they are here. They just want to do the promotion for as many as are also interested. Now, I told you when we started, 2 things are prime. Number 1, awareness and advocacy. Number 2, your welfare. Sincerely is a concern. So as many as will be interested, maybe on listening to them, you may say, okay, can I also do some stuff? If you have such grace, because all these, they all depend on grace. So the man on the cooperative, please, just to whet our appetite. I know we can't exhaust everything, but at least for them to know that we are not where we used to be, please, can you quickly please come up? Let's have your presentation in 3 minutes. Thank you, sir. Please, you can clap, encourage him.
The application is mainly to help the cooperative to operate. Now, with this application, this is the web part of it. There's a mobile part of it, and you really don't have to, use the booklet thing the way cooperative used to use. There's quite a number of people still do that, and you have the savings. So you can click on that icon around the available balance, that icon. So it just works as good as, sorry, can you refresh it? It works as good as a mini banking application where all your transactions can be done online. Okay, click on the icon. Okay, so you can see total savings, 50,000 naira, total withdrawal, total loan, available balance, everything will be there. And if you want to save, all you need to do is go to the savings. You can, okay, let's click on the savings. So you can click on the savings. You can now do a new saving. You can say, do new saving. So put 20,000 naira thereabouts. No, in enter amount. Okay, or 2 million. Okay, so add contribution. Now you can see, so you can use, you don't have to transfer, you can just use your card straight to pay online, and you can use Flutterwave, or you can also click the arrow key and do bank transfer. So, but let's cancel it just because of time. Cancel it. So, but everything is working. You can go through the process. So let's go back to dashboard. I just want to show you something else. So if you don't want to do the savings, maybe you don't want to do the saving frequently, like you just want to do a saving challenge. So please scroll up. Yeah, go to the saving challenge. So you can go to the do create challenge. So in this create challenge, probably you want to save for vacation. You want to have vacation. Nigerians, we don't have vacation. You can type in the vacation. You can say the amount you want to do, frequency, and how many times. So if you say frequency, click on the frequency. So weekly, monthly. So if you want to do savings, instead of you doing this contribution with people and 10 people, you are doing 10 rounds, and everybody now, somebody parks, and interestingly, the second person just parks and run away, so that you won't have that case. You can just do your own saving by yourself. And the interesting thing is that you just put in your card, and automatically, if you should do it that on the 28th of every month, you should be withdrawing the money. It automatically withdraw the money from your account, and without stress. You can do it daily if you want to do daily contribution, if you want to do weekly contribution or monthly contribution. Then every other thing, so let's go back to the dashboard. So that's basically how it works. Savings is the main thing, but you can also request for your loan, you can request for withdrawals and everything like that. So the idea is to automate the process of cooperative. Thank you.
Put your hands together for that. Yeah. Because what we're actually thinking about, if we want to reach out to everybody, even you be in Abuja. And I can assure you, by the grace of God, because we know what will make it work, integrity. Because once integrity is not there, there will be challenge. So, and that's where all of us, we need to come together, because looking for a man of integrity, it cannot be resident in one man. Every one of us must find a way to make sure that whoever is at the center is handling our funds well. And you see, by the time you bring your 2 kobo, I bring my own 10 naira, when we pull it together, it's so powerful. And that's the advantage, that's the benefit I want us to look at. That we can together go into consultancy, can with confidence say, I want to bid for a job there, especially where we have some of our directors like Engineer Taye coming up now, by the grace of God, all our permanent secretary. We can say we want to go and bid because we have some level of, you understand the gist. And of course, when it comes, by the time the dividends goes, it will then be beyond what you have actually contributed. So I want us to really have a large heart towards this. I'm sure it will work. We're already spending money. In fact, what we have been able to advance now is still 10 million, and I said 10 million, 1 million. You said what? We will get to that. Yes, we are going somewhere. So let me welcome Sante Baobab. Please just come quickly, 3 minutes. You don't have more than that. Please, after this refreshment, don't go away. Prof has prepared for us. He's not just giving the talk alone physically, he's also ready to put something in our tummy. So why not put your hands together now? So
thank you very much, sir. Good evening, everyone. This lecture is actually very, very timely, and I want to say thank you so much, sir. It's actually an eye-opener, just as Madam said, behind. We took action, and that is why we are here. Just as he spoke about the moringa tree, at Sante, we decided to explore baobab. And if you know baobab, we go as far as Kano, Bauchi to source for those materials. And we have our factory. We put in a whole lot of money. We are NAFDAC approved. And this is our baobab packed. We have different sizes. And it's good for, just like the moringa, for it helps in managing diabetes, blood pressure, and a whole lot. We're going to circulate this to you right now. So we took action, and we want you to support us so that we can also support ourselves when you decide to take your own action. So in this particular program, or in this place right now, this goes for, this is 500 pack, normally 500 grams. It goes for 13,000, but we're giving it here for 12.5, and we have 250 grams, it's 7,000. We're giving it for 6.5. But we have a partnership opportunity. We're looking for distributors, and if you want it branded in our pack, or you want to brand it in your own pack, we are also open to such opportunity. Because of the fantastic lecture Prof have given today, we have a gift for you, and we want you to keep promoting this this baobab. So please, it's available outside. If you need any quantity, you can make a transfer, and we are going to give you the pack now. So, sir, on behalf of Sante Baobab,
okay.
yes.
I think I have to do that myself now.
Okay.
I think they are smart. I think these guys are smart. Okay, let's do the presentation at least. So on behalf of Sante Baobab, I think this is a kind gesture from you. I'm excited that you are coming up with this for erudite professor, and even accompanying what they have done today. Answer, this is good. I'm using, in fact, today, with my smoothie, I just, a lot of energy. With my pap, I'm already promoting for you. I'm going to pay for this. So on behalf of the Sante Baba, this is presented to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I hope he cures old age.
Thank you so much. So, gentlemen and ladies, please, I just want to give opportunity just for 2 comments. Quickly. I see one hand there. Yes, the other one. Another one, just comments as we round up. Okay. That's 2. Oh, madam, it's okay. I will give you opportunity. That's it. So please, just in 30 seconds, just say something.
Okay, thank you.
Who are those preparing for our refreshment, sir?
Thank you, Prof, for the wonderful presentation. We greatly appreciate and will take advantage of all those you mentioned. I've been talking of young people. By God's grace, we'll take advantage of the Innovation Hub. Just this morning, I forwarded a lot to the chairman himself. We are already into so many things regarding the smart farming. I also have an agricultural hub. I have a physical outlet for that matter. So I will take advantage of that. But then the major challenge, we have been talking, and I know you gave us a land here. So I want to throw it as a challenge to the chairman and the president. You said you have a partnership with Naseni, that you are working towards something. What can we come together to do and make it profitable so that AUST will have their own and we also will have our own and the cooperative will move?
That was what we talked about. We have started. Are you not here?
I want to know what we want to improve.
Okay.
It's not just theory. No, if we move here, we move. What are we?
What will just happen? Don't worry. We'll talk more about this. I'm telling you, and I'm not joking. I'm not joking. We have started. Definitely more ideas will come. Maybe what we have even presented did not encapsulate all that we wanted. But don't worry, I'm sure more about that.
And concerning, I think I will volunteer to do it free of charge if we have the...
Okay, actually, I think it skipped me to mention that we're already in partnership. I think we've signed the MOU, or we're about to sign. Oh, we've signed an MOU that is between the African University of Science and Technology and NIAE. And there are a number of things within the MOU. And I believe that, I think we are just going through the teething problems of implementing that MOU. And I think I can see some of my staff who are in that group. Madam, I think, are you in this business? Yes, she's a... yeah.
What's your stuff?
Oh, no, we don't have the time, but at least she's one of our professors. She's actually in accounting. She's not an agric engineer, but she's driving our grants. Yes, she's practicing accounting. I tell accountants that their job is not only to account for money, but to look for money. So she's driving some of our initiatives in trying to get grants. And so she's involved, and also, He's one of our lecturers in mechanical engineering, part-time, before they said that you are doing 2 jobs. Yeah. So we have a team that are, the team from both sides that are working on this MOU. And MOUs are, like the name is, Memorandum of Understanding. So any additional thing that is not within the one that is already signed. So you can get more information about what is going on and what we are trying to do. But some of the things I highlighted are actually some of the things we can do together. Like the project I talked about, the Naseni Delta 2. For me, it's one of the dreams that I think maybe is something that I'll retire to. Converting biomass to what? Useful materials and useful products. And this is one of the things that have been driving me. How do we, this country, and indeed Africa, we are blessed with natural resources, and we are not able to convert them. And this is one of the things, and the example that the baobab thing is one of the, where is the, oh, the outside? Yeah, okay. It's one good example. And I remember when I tried to drive this when I was DG in raw material. It's not only moringa, there are other products. In the case of moringa, we drove three companies. One of them is now a very big conglomerate in Onitsha. You hear about Tiger Foods. It's one of the people that we worked with at a larger scale. But we also did with cooperatives like ours. There's one big cooperative in Warri that got all their processing machines from Raw Material Council. And then another one in Biu that produces moringa oil. I don't know if you know about moringa oil. It's very expensive oil. But at the time they approached us, they were doing the extraction in crude form. But we helped them and they started producing and they are in the market. I think there is another one that does the moringa tea from Ibadan. These are SMEs that started small, but with the support from the council, they now became big.
Once again, good evening, everyone. My name is Engineer Oliver Uchichukweze. I'm the Vice Chairman, NIAE Abuja branch. Prof, we have come a very long way. I was just referring to Engineer Rita that Prof has been my mentor for decades now. right from the day I entered university. He lectured me year 1, year 2, and before he came to Abuja and all that. So I've known him for a long time. And the presentation he has made this evening is not, to me, a surprise at all. I just want to charge all of us that he has provoked our thoughts once again. And as engineers, as agri-engineers, as Nigerians, as Africans, I think we are lazy people. We are lazy in so many respects. Yes, I mean what I'm saying. As the vice chairman of FNSE Abuja branch, I have the opportunity of visiting the yards of most of these big engineering firms in Abuja. Like the CCECCs, most of the Julius Bergers. If you go to the compound where these white people live, they produce their vegetables. If you think about money, they have more money than me and you to go to supermarket, all the supermarkets around to buy whatever they want. But no, they produce their pepper, they produce their vegetables, they produce so many things within their compound. But we who are poor comparatively prefer to work hard to make money and go and buy. I'm saying this because when he mentioned something, I said I have tried it. The story of producing yam in sacks. I have done it. It's not that I heard. And it works. And it worked. And it's still working for me. What we are planning currently, me and my wife, is to start producing pepper, fresh pepper. There is this yellow pepper called Osoka pepper. We want to start producing them, producing tomatoes and some other small vegetables in our compound where I live. I don't own the house. In case you think I'm comfortable because it's my house. No, I'm a tenant. But my compound is a bit comfortable, so we can do these things. We have heard from Prof this evening. He has provoked all of us, and I want to urge us to go and put some of these things into practice. We have no business being hungry people, and we are actually hungry. But if we are serious, like what the practical farmer asked, why the gap between the policy, the long English, and then the practicals, is because we are not. The summary of my submission is that from now henceforth, having listened to Prof this evening, let us begin to act. Don't wait until you have 1 million. Don't wait until you have 500,000. With 20,000, you can start doing something. I went to Wasa last Saturday to buy things, to buy food with my wife, and we bought 3 seeds of ugu for 500 naira. It's part of what we want to plant beside our fence. We can start like that, and we will go far. Thank you.
Thank you for that challenge. So, ma, do you still want to just 30 seconds? You know, he has taken part of your time. Yes, he took it.
Have my permission. Okay, thank you very much. You know, I'm like an odd man out. Prof already told us I'm an accountant, but all of us have need for food. So I'm very much interested in how I can be using my sack to grow food. There is no time now, otherwise I would have told a little story of how I used to plant things. Now that I'm in the midst of agricultural engineers, how are you going to assist me? It's a privilege to that. You see, I want to be able to plant this yam we are talking about. I want to be able to plant things that I can use. So, yeah, apart from that, from Prof's presentation, I want to raise an issue. Yeah, you agricultural engineers, but the business side of agriculture, do you do it alone or do you do collaborations? Because these days, you hardly do anything in isolation. So what are you taking steps to get into collaboration to make it easier for your members and for others to benefit from your knowledge and from the knowledge of others that, synergy. It will be interesting to know.
Thank you so much, ma. Please let me put hands together for her. There's no doubt. That's why we are taking the practical step of collaborating with AUST. And thank God you have been to one or two of our meetings. And of course, to translating it better is why we keep hammering it. And we'll keep on doing this hammering until we find ourselves doing what we have said. So on this note, we need to end it here. If you have any other thing you want to say, at the end of the day, please, let's talk immediately after the meeting. But we need to close the meeting now. So as I invite Engineer Dr. Taye Tenishe to please, help us to thank our host, thank everyone that has been part of this meeting tonight. Put your hands together as he comes to the microphone.
My branch chairman, thank you very much for the opportunity to give the vote of thanks. Gentlemen and our ladies, you can all agree with me. On my own personal observation, we have never had a meeting like this. Yes, this is almost 6:30, and nobody even stand up go peace. Not to talk of going. So that tells a lot that we are really impacted, we really benefited, and it tells you the stuff the lecture today is made of. There is a statement from the branch chairman. It's not the hearing, but the doing. And I hope we'll take back home what we have learned here. I will appeal to the chairman, me, I'm willing to support. Maybe in the next 2 months, somebody will come and invite from that lecture. This is what I've done. Come and see it. So we'll challenge our young ones. Show us what you have done. We'll come and see it. Where we need to encourage you, we'll encourage you. You may not know what it means, but like he has said in the lectures here, you take advantage of technology and awareness. At the time you come and advertise yourself, you'll be surprised. You take 5 million, 3 million to rent a shop in Barnes. It's only people that come to Barnes that can identify your product or that will know you are there. But social media wonders overnight, we are all over the world. So let's take advantage of it. To the cameraman, we say thank you very much. Please extend NIAE appreciation to your people. What do they call them? Clear view. Yes. Every time it's like you have become part and parcel of us, because I see you virtually in all our programs with very little or no payment. We are so grateful. We appreciate you. The Baobabs people, I will appeal on behalf of my members, if you can bring down your, we'll still buy more. Yes. Okay, they've gone, Abi. Please convey the message to them. Yes, Baobabs is something I know very well. We used to go to the bush in those days, pick it and start licking. It's very good and it's home to us now. Let's find a way to take advantage of it. Gentlemen, thank you very much. God bless us all.